I'm Dr. Ryan DeBell from the Move It Fix. This is Move It Fix Monday. I'm at CrossFit Bold outside of London. We're filming this week here. And what I want to talk about this week is the basic anatomy of the pec major and the pec minor and how that affects how you would stretch them. And I'll show a couple examples of how you could stretch them. So both of these muscles, when they're unable to lengthen or when they're tight and stiff, they will pull the shoulder blade. So if this is my right shoulder blade like this, the pec minor, because it attaches essentially from a couple of my ribs, if I can get this band working, it attaches from a couple of my ribs underneath my pec major, so it's a layer below, and it attaches onto this bony point right here on the shoulder blade. And so it essentially makes my shoulder do that. And so you can see how this is not going to be helpful for lifting up overhead. So that's a reason why it's a commonly stretched muscle, is because of that muscular attachment pulls this down. And if it can lengthen, then it can go here. That allows for better overhead lifting. The pec major, on the other hand, some of it comes off your collarbone, and then a big portion comes off of your sternum and ribs right in through here. And that attaches, it doesn't attach to the shoulder blade, it attaches to your arm bone. So it would go essentially on me from here, and it would attach in like this. And so if it's tight, it pulls you here, and then if it can lengthen, you can rotate this way. And actually, it attaches higher up, so it's more like here, it's not down here. And so the implication is, if I want to stretch these out, I'm going to, a really easy way to do this is getting next to a pull-up bar like this. And you could roll out your pec, and I've shown videos on this, like a better way to stretch the pecs, things like that, where you roll out the pec and then you do a stretch. But the reason I'm going to do a stretch like this is because it hits the pec major, because if I'm thinking about pec major, it wants to pull me here. So if I'm like this, it helps to put that under stretch. And then for the pec minor, it would pull my shoulder blade like here. So I'm thinking about pulling my shoulder blade back and open. And I'll start with my torso facing this way, and then I'm going to twist open. And as I do that, I'm going to start to feel some of a stretch here. And then a little tip that my friend Dan Pope was talking about recently is if you shrug up your shoulder like this, it will bring that little bony attachment point of the pec minor up a little bit, so that can increase the stretch on the pec minor. I would avoid going like this with my head and my neck, because that's going to load up the nerves that go into your arm. And as I'm doing this, I'm also trying to like pull my arm off of the rig a little bit. So I'm not trying to stretch really hard and push my arm into it. I'm going here. Maybe I shrug my shoulder up a little bit if I'm aiming for pec minor, rotate open, try to pull my arm backwards. You can't see me doing it, but I'm trying to do it. And then I'd come back. If I lowered my arm like this, I'm going to hit different parts of the pec major. I'm probably not going to hit as much pec minor. And then I might hit some different fibers of my pec if I bring my arm down here and turn this way. But primarily, especially when we're thinking about overhead lifting, I want to bring my arm up, and that's how I'd go about doing it. So that's why the anatomy of the pec requires us to stretch it that way, and the anatomy of the pec major versus pec minor, and why we would do one versus the other with the little shrug trick, and why you can hit different angles with the pec versus the pec minor. So that's what I got for you guys this week on Move It Fix Monday. If you don't already follow me on Facebook, you can find me at the Move It Fix. I'll see you guys next week.